It's Ronnie, and welcome to YouTube Hop Galentine's Day, hosted by Miranda Weber. And so I want to wish y'all happy Valentine's Day. And it is also Follow a Sketch February, and this one is hosted by Sandy, who is State Goddess here on YouTube. And so I will be following a sketch today, and this is a sketch I'll be following, and it is by Rochelle, and it is super cute. I will not be using that bracket there in the center, and I did have a button out with string, a 49 and market one, and forgot all about it, but it was a lot smaller anyway. That was the photo I am going to scrap. I will be using that title. I made it ahead of time. It's by KS Craft, and it says Be My Galentine. And the rest is 49 and Market Rouge. Oh, I did make my circle with my Creative Memories circle cutter. And this one is, I think those are chipboard pieces. And I do use one of them, and then some background pieces, layering pieces, as they call them. This ephemera, I did use some of that. And these, I think I used one piece out of there, a small one that was in there. And I use that for like a subtitle. And I'm showing my ring there. And I did gut the back of that one piece, and I'm showing how it goes in there, and I took it out. And I layered with this piece, and it is packaging, but it is that pink plaid design. And I did layer some black on there too. My first intention wasn't to use black, but when I cut out my circle, there was some rough edges right there at the end. I just couldn't get this one place to cut, and I went back the other direction. Wrong thing to do. I knew it as soon as I done it, but yeah, I went ahead and inked the edges so I wouldn't have to cut another one, and inked everything else. I showing on that paper that it was all one piece of paper. The one in the center came from the left, and then the other two, the one came from the right and then the right. And I just cut them in half after I'd cut them out, and because it was a scrap to start with, and layered them with it. I'm using this red frame. I cannot remember if it came from this collection or not. It was over with my Christmas stuff, and I seen it and just grabbed it. It might have came with the Christmas, but it's still 49 and Market. I kind of think it came in here, but I just borrowed all those to put in my Christmas a couple of months ago. My photo is of myself, my daughter, and my sister. My daughter had invited us to, it was a murder mystery dinner for Valentine's Day, and she invited us separately, so I thought the title could go ahead and work, because this one is going in her album. I made one a few years back when we first done it, but they happened to see it in my album, both of them, 2 different times, and mentioned they did not have a layout done of theirs. And I said, well, I'll get to it. I'm finally getting to one of them. So, yeah, this one will be in my daughter's because it's Be My Galentine. And I wasn't really intending to use this piece here, but I seen it at the last minute and thought I'd throw it in. But that ticket, I wanted to make sure I used a ticket, since we did have digital tickets for this event, and she did print it out and give it to me though, so I could have it. But yeah, I'm putting that on there, and then I thought, well, I don't need all that, I'll save it. I wasn't planning on putting it on the bottom too, but then I changed my mind, so it is going to get embellished on the bottom, just like on the top of the bottom pieces. So the ticket and the other piece is going to go on there both. My first thought was to pull out a collection that was for Valentine's Day that I did my layout out of, and it was in the closet. But before I made it to the closet, I thought of Rouge, and I thought, well, that would make a great layout. So it ended up being this collection instead, which I like a whole lot better than the other one. I ordered the other one, I think, peachy cheap, and yeah, I was happy to get it for the price, and I did use it for a few layouts, but I love this collection. That one I liked, this one I love. And I love it when there's these big clusters, not the big flowers, but the big clusters. The big flowers I end up using, but they aren't my favorite. These are my favorite, where it's smaller flowers and little sprays coming out. Yeah, I love that. But of course, I want to spread it out. And I first thought I'd put it behind that pink cardstock paper thing. But then when I actually went to put it down, I decided to put it behind the photo on both sides. Now, in the sketch, the title is Above the Ring. However, the circle ring or whatever it is. But mine is a lot bigger than the one in the sketch, but that's what I had to use. Well, I didn't have to use. I had another circle thing I could have pulled out, but this one's usually so much easier to use. So my title's going to nestle right there over the top of it and with the greenery. Well, I am going to add more than the greenery. Yeah, I'm just making a whole cluster right there. I added the flower, but I remembered I'd pulled this locket with the ribbon, and I knew I was going to have to use it somewhere on the layout. And I thought, I think it'll go really good with the title, so I'm going to nestle it right in there. And I did put a little bit behind the greenery, and I'm going to put a flower on top of the ribbon just so it's all there together. Now, on that die set for the title, it has a shadow behind it. And I used variegated looking red that I can't remember if it actually came in this collection or maybe a different one, but it's the one where it's like painted on one side and solid on the other. And I took this from the painted looking side. And then the letters themselves are that plaid that you've seen on the back of the other two papers. My subtitle there is Murder Mystery Dinner. And this little chipboard thing, it says Treasured Times, and I wanted it to go with the other pieces, so I am cutting what Katie Petite calls, well, hers has text on it already. I added mine, but she calls them text fragments, and she don't make them straight and neat, and I like that. So, oh, and there, when I put it on there, I seen that other piece was just, oh, a fraction above it. I mean, they just almost touched. And I thought, well, if it was a good sized gap, that would be fine, but almost touching, but not. I want them to kind of nestle together. So I went ahead and added the stripe piece and cut the top part just like I did on the other one. And I'm glad I cut it the way I did because that little dip on the left-hand side, I'm going to add a button that you're going to see when I take the photos because I forgot the buttons. Like I said, I had that one and there were just no place to put it by the time I got done. But there was two chipboard ones in there, not three, just two. So I'm going to add those two to the layout, and one's going to go in the upper right-hand corner. And while I was that lacy thing, I had it planned, in my head to put right underneath the photo, then forgot totally about it. And so I still wanted some there, so I cut it down and slid it under the other parts. And then I still wanted, since I wanted the two to touch the two clusters and kind of make it one big one, I added the flowers so it could come down over the other part too. And this is a cluster that's going up there on the right. Now, I seen the stamps in there, and all of a sudden it hit me. I could put one of them on there and put it in the upper right-hand corner like a Valentine being mailed. And so, yeah, it's going up there, but I didn't want it by itself. I put it there by itself to start with. but it just looked kind of on the lonely side and needed a cluster. So I am going to put the button on the bottom right of it. And that stripe piece, I started to use the frame, but it just wasn't working out for me. And that stripe piece, it was a scrap, and one end was bigger than the other because apparently it was not cut straight. And so the bigger piece I just cut off, and the skinnier piece made it on the layout. And I'm not sure what I did there, but I did something. Let's see. I'm trying to see what little teeny tiny. Oh, these are the little branches with the berries on them. And I had two, so I thought I'd add them to the layout. But I'm cutting them apart, so I have just a little bit more to add in places. And yeah, I still have one little tiny piece, and it's going to go in that right hand one, I believe. And yeah, it is. And so I'm just going to tuck it in there. And yeah, I'm done. I'm going to put me some splatters on here. I looked for some sequins, but I had none whatsoever that would go with this. So I had some Christmas I thought I could sort through even and add some red. But I changed my mind, and they were all the same size. The red pieces were one size, and I thought I really would rather have, you know, another size. And then I had a big one that was the right colors, but they were all the big ones. None were small. So I finally decided just put some black splatters on there, and I liked how it turned out. So that's pretty good. But there's my completed layout for my daughter. And yeah, she's going to get this one in her album. And but yeah, she surprised us. She bought tickets for the dinner, and it was a very nice dinner. It had a murder mystery, which we got to watch. We'd always talked about going to one, just had never done it, my sister and I. And it had gourmet chocolates. Oh, they were so good. And then it had drinks. I mean, I didn't get no alcoholic drink. I got a Shirley Temple's what I got, but they were really good. And you got two with your ticket. So yeah, we had a lot of fun and had really good food, and we had filet mignon. So yeah, I think that's what we had. It's been a while since we went, but it was steak anyway, so it was really, really good. And we had a lot of fun too. No, I did not figure out who the murderer was before the end of the mystery part. But thank you all so very, very much for joining me. Be sure to check out the two playlists down there below. The one for Be My the Galentine one for YouTube Hop, and also the one that says Follow a Sketch February, which is going on all month. It's a series. But have a happy, scrappy week, and thank you so very, very much for joining me. Bye.